Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome to an interesting episode where I review one of the largest fountain pen ever made in Romania. And we are talking about this great large fountain pen, ACM Gigant. In translation in English, it has a proper name. Gigant means giant. And ACM is the acronym from Archimet Sibiu. So if you watch my channel, you know that the Romanian fountain pen industry was concentrated or located in this town called Sibiu. It is a nice town, and in the 1970s, in the early 1970s, they launched this giant fountain pen. For you guys to know how big it is, I have chosen other fountain pens from my collection that you probably know, and I will put them side by side, and you will make an idea about the dimensions of this great giant. So I have this giant here, and next to it, I will position this modern 146 with a silver cap. Next to it, I will put a Jinhao 159. You probably know that it has the same dimensions as a Montblanc Diplomat 149. Next to it, I have a Senator President fountain pen, quite a large fountain pen. And why not, just for a size reference, I have here a Pelikan M800. So guys, now I will show them to you side by side. And you can see that the ACM Giant or Gigant, it is the largest of them all. Of course, I will leave the actual dimensions of this fountain pen on the screen. And after that, we will look at some characteristics because it is a strange fountain pen. It has nice looking features, but some of them at great scale. Let's inspect it. Let's give it a little zoom. So you already seen the ACM Giant thermically imprinted on the barrel. The cap is rather interesting with this great band of metal, and you can see it has some little stars that of course remind us of the logo of the Mont Blanc, but they are stars. And we have this little clip, interesting clip. Inside we have painted a part of the clip, so it's not hollow like the clips from Waterman. Let me see how functional it is. It's quite functional. It's a metallic clip. You can see as a defect of production, probably this metallic clip was used and it put pressure on this injected plastic material here, and in time it developed this little crack. The cap unscrews and it reveals a quite generous transparent ink window and a more interesting semi-hooded nib. Just look at it. Certainly is not a gold nib. It's just a steel nib, gold plated. The only fountain pen made in Romania with a gold nib was the Flaro Titan Deluxe version, and I will leave a link in the description of this video to watch its review. At the ending, quite a nice, interesting feed. It is almost integrated in the body. I like this design. And now, guys, the interesting part. If we unscrew the ending, we can see a quite large fake cap. And this fake cap reveals the piston filler. But not only that, this fountain pen can also be disassembled from this part quite easy to reveal the actual piston filler. This has a little bit of a problem because I think it should be like this, and if it's like this, when I rotate this part here, it should advance, and let me show you. So it should advance like this when I take it. So it definitely we have a little problem here. It needs to be fixed. So when I do this, it should roll in and out. But certainly I will try to do the writing sample if I can, just with it dipped. I thought to myself that this is a neat thing to show you the whole inner reservoir. So as you can see, quite simple, quite a simple mechanism, but at large proportions. So a really true giant. Guys, you must know that this fountain pen, it is quite a rare fountain pen. And why is that? Because it's a lifetime, the production, I estimate it to be only for 1 year in the early 1970s. So maybe 2 years till 1971, 1972 it was produced. But because the next model, which you see here, ACM Terra, appeared, so this was a more finer and defined product. This was prone to flaws, and in fact the models that you can find on the second-hand market are all broken and have different problems. This is a quite nice fountain pen, or it has this problem here, it has that problem in the inner piston, but it is quite nice, no major cracks, it is in a fairly good condition. And I presume that because this model was often broken, they decided to end its production, and they came out with this model. I will simply show it to you, not in detail, because I want to show you the similarities between those two models, and of course the ACM Terra will have its own review. So this time a nice designed looking cap. It reminds me of a design from Pininfarina, a special edition of an Italian fountain pen. This also unscrews, and look at the interesting similarities. So this is the Giant, and this is the Terra. Not such a large ink window, but it is still present, the ink window. And if I unscrew this over here, we can see the same piston filling mechanism that we have on the larger model. And let me show you, including the fake cap, a smaller fake cap, but just look at them. So practically the Giant and its little brother. So the same principle. As you can see, the same producer. And let me show you what I've been talking about. So definitely we can take this off, and of course we can take this off of our Giant. Another little bit of problem here on the Giant, it lacks some of the plastic, but it doesn't affect the functionality of the piece. And simply, guys, you might find the Terra model on the wild, but the Giant model is a quite scarce model, and it is, like I told you, it had a very limited production number. So this is the ACM Terra. You can see thermically imprinted, but this time also painted, ACM Terra. What can I tell you about the producer ACM? So we have some information about the Flaro producer, which still operates in our days. But ACM is quite elusive, and I think it ended its activity before the Romanian Revolution. So it was a producer that was active only in the 1970s. And I'm not so sure they delivered those products, and I think they are quite nice products. And if you compare them with similar models from Flaro, the ACM definitely had a quality control check better, in my opinion, than the Flaro producer. So I don't know why the reason of shutting it down. Maybe it is, or what can I say? I can't compare a communist producer with a capitalist producer. When we are talking about the capitalist, we talk about the demand of the markets, about the competition. But in the centralized planned economy, they often collaborated with each other, even though they produce quite different products. It is a problem, where do you sell those products? Okay, you sell them in the inner market, so for your own countrymen, or you can export them. But when you export them, you have a limited number of countries. Of course, you can export them to your partners in communist countries. And I'm not so sure that those models were for the export. I know for sure that some Flaro models were intended for the export market. Of course, they were high qualitative products. So if this had a flaw, they didn't sell it externally. It was sold in the interior market, even if it had flaws from fabrication. So nothing was lost, but I don't know the reasons. They ended their activity in the mid 80s, and I'm not so sure if they still supplied parts or the parts were supplied by Flaro. I must do a little bit more of research. So, guys, this was the great giant. And because I've already left its dimensions, I will only tell you that I paid for this quite a large sum of money, and I paid 400 lays, or approximately 80 euros or 90 American dollars. So for this type of fountain pen, even though it's a giant fountain pen, it has simple parts. I think I've paid a lot of money, but sincerely, I have seen only once or twice since 2017, since I started collecting fountain pens, this particular model offered for sale. And it was offered at a high number of 500 euros. So definitely a no for me. So when I found this at 80 euros, I think it was a fair deal. I needed to show you the greatest, the giant fountain pen from Romania. And by the way, I think I have here, if I'm not mistaken. Why not? I wanted to show you the Flaro Titan, and in a few moments I will find it and show it to you. So I will pause the video, and I will prepare also a notebook for the written sample. So guys, I have returned with the notebook, and I promise you that I will show you the Flaro Titan in both of its versions. So this is the simple version without the gold nib, with these silver trims, and this is the gold version. So if I put them side by side, you can see that the giant is much longer, and it really deserved its name. So the giant next to the titan, they are both quite large fountain pens. Okay guys, now I am ready for the written sample. I've chosen the Faber-Castell pink erasable ink because I want to clean its reservoir. I will try to fill it using its system, and I think I will try to use it as a syringe. So I don't want to break it, but like an example, I will use it like a syringe. So I will try to uh, use it like a syringe. And maybe it will be a better idea to simply fill it from this side with ink, to use it like this. Yes, I think I will do that. So I don't think I have my syringe prepared. So I will pause again. So guys, I have returned with the syringe. Be careful, I use a medical syringe. They're on the market, syringes with this needle more thicker, but I will use it carefully. So as a disclaimer, don't use it at home. It is a danger to of hurt. So this is the ink. I will give it a little nice shake. Just open it and fill the syringe. You don't have to fill it quite. So I will fill it like this. Okay, guys, and I promised you that I will try to fill it on this side. And the only problems that I can see is maybe we will have a bad ink flow till the ink reaches the... Okay. No, definitely a problem. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to preserve this ink. So definitely this fountain pen has some problems. And why do I say that? Let me get a tissue. I will wipe clean this part. So guys, why I'm saying that? Because this reservoir, if it were okay, it needed to hold that ink. But it is okay now. Maybe I needed this vacuum here to hold the ink in the reservoir, and I think this is a problem. But why not? Let me try again. Let me try to put this here. Let me show you what I am doing. And now I will try to take this off. Yes. So you look, guys, we have ink. But I'm not so sure that ink will hold. And as you can see, the same problem. We have little drops of ink. Let me turn it like this, the ink. So I will try to do the writing sample with it like this. So I'm just putting back this part. Okay. I hope that we will not have that ink flow problems. So remember, guys, after you use the ink, just put back the cap. Okay, we have a little bit of residue here. And let me change the angle of the camera. I want you to see better the written sample, so bear with me, guys. I think this is good enough. I will put the syringe here. Let me show you if we can post the cap. Indeed, and it's securely posted. I think I will leave it with the post right here. So let me show you how it writes. So I have here the ACM. No, it doesn't write. Okay, let me see if I can remedy this problem. So it doesn't write, guys, for the first time. I will dip it. I need to dip it in ink, and maybe now it will write. So I have here an ACM Gigant or Giant. I'm quite surprised to see such a large fountain pen with this nib. And I think this is an F nib, F for fine. This is a product of Romania, made in Romania in the early 1970s. You can see a fine nib, but I think it's quite a juicy nib. Let me show it to you. Yes, quite a juicy nib. As you can see, it is a semi-hooded nib. It's steel but gold plated, and the gold plating has stood the test of time, so quite nice. I'm not expecting it to have line variations, but we will try some. Definitely no flex. Let me see the pressure test. So here no pressure, and here a little bit of pressure. No, I can't see no line variation. Let me see how it does on signatures, being a large pen. Review. Yes, definitely we have an inflow problem, but I think it does the signatures quite well. Let me see if I can reverse write it with it. Reverse writing. Definitely plausible. It scratches a little bit, so it wasn't designed for reverse writing, but it appears that we can also reverse write with it, and a little bit of ink flow problem when I do the reverse writing. Okay guys, let me tell you about the quick brown fox jumps over the, definitely a little bit of scratch, lazy dog. And I think I identified the problem. So for this guys, I need a little bit of lighting and a great zoom. I want to show you why this nib scratches, and you can see a part of the paper. If we look at the tines, they are slightly misaligned, and definitely I can't show you, but it has that problem. Let me see if I can get rid of that paper. It still has the paper, and in my opinion they are misaligned because one is elevated and one is down. Look, now you can see. Just look at the top of them and you can see. So definitely it needs a little bit of tuning, but what can I say guys, quite a nice fountain pen made by the communist industry in Romania in the 1970s. Of course there are flaws, of course it isn't a perfect product, but in comparison with the Titan that has lots of elements from the Mont Blanc Diplomat 149, I sincerely think that this is a quite original product made in Romania. So you should be proud if you have this in your collection. It is made in the time where the communist industries had to adapt to the market, had to compete with the Western industry, which was quite developed, and they often made some bad choices regarding their products. They often cut corners, and the products in time were not so beautiful as their Western counterparts. So when you look at a Mont Blanc, of course they are from different categories. This is a luxury product, so you can almost see the difference between the precious resin and the simple plastic. This has a little bit of shine to it, and definitely you can see some difference between the luxury product and the simple product from the 1970s, but you got to admire the ingenuity and the designers of those times. So Guys, this is a special fountain pen, the ACM Gigant. I am glad that I had the chance to do a written sample with it. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you've enjoyed this review and you want to see more interesting fountain pens from the communist times Romanian and why not other luxury products from their Western competitors, just please join my channel, subscribe to support my activity. I will see you again at the next episode. Till then, please take care of yourself. Oh, and I almost forgot. I want to wish you to have. Oh, already problems. Okay, I can't finish the video without wishing you to have a nice day wherever you are. Take care of yourself, guys, and we will see each other in the next episode. Bye bye.